Hi everyone and welcome to Sports Watch. If you like the content, please press the bell icon for further notifications and like, share and subscribe to the channel. Dustin Poirier will be facing Max Holloway for the BMF title at UFC 318 in New Orleans. It's the final dance for the diamond. Dustin Poirier, who has had a storied career in the UFC and who is absolutely one of the greatest lightweights to have ever competed in the company, is finally calling it a day. And that too against Max Holloway, another loyal servant of the company and who also has had a glorious past in the UFC. People forget how long these two have been competing in the UFC. Dustin came into the company 2011 and Max just a year later. Well, Dustin fought the first time at UFC 125 and 15 years later at UFC 318, he's finally calling it a day. And Max Holloway too. He first fought in the company in 2012 and after 14 years, he is still active and very much in the title picture. People forget the longevity of these two great champions. Now, there are naysayers who are going to say, what's the use of a trilogy between Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier when Dustin has clearly won both times when he has fought? But there's a clear history between the two of them. They have been two of the most glorious fighters that the UFC has ever had. And even though Max has lost twice to Dustin, the last time when they fought, it was an extremely competitive fight. And Dustin correctly had his hands raised, but in terms of significant strikes, Max still had 3 strikes over Dustin. Dustin Poirier had landed the bigger shots, but Max Holloway was a featherweight champion at that time, did what he did best, that is come back and overwhelmed Dustin Poirier with volume. Max moved up to lightweight to face Dustin in that match where Dustin was clearly much bigger than him. He hit much harder and he hurt Max multiple times in that fight but still couldn't drop him and couldn't finish him. Max came back and he landed punches of his own, but it was clear that those punches didn't have the same amount of impact that Dustin's had. Now, Max Holloway has finally moved up to lightweight and he has filled in completely for the weight. Look what he did to Justin Gaethje for the BMF fight. It was a great fight and Max looked good. But then again, he came down to fight Ilia Topuria and got knocked out. So, Max will have mixed feelings going into the fight. But it's an honor and a privilege to be watching these two legends scrap for it one last time in the Diamond's farewell match. Dustin has always been one of the elite fighters in the lightweight division. He has never been able to hold the UFC lightweight championship. That's a shame, but he has fought for the belt numerous times. And against Khabib, against Charles Oliveira, he has just come up short. But his resume is probably the best in the lightweight division. Now, those saying that what's the use of a trilogy with Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier said that he had asked the company for the Justin Gaethje trilogy. Gaethje and him are 1-1, and it would have been the fitting way to sign off. But the company had other plans for Justin Gaethje. He also called out Ilia Topuria, but the UFC didn't want to respond to that as well because they fully know that Dustin does have the potential to beat Ilia Topuria, and that hype Topuria fight in Makhachev might be gone if he were to fight Dustin Poirier. So we have Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier. The first time that they fought was 2012. Both were fighting at featherweight. Max and Dustin both didn't have any prior experience, and Dustin submitted Max. At UFC 236 came their second fight, and both of them by that time had matured into the perfect fighters that they were. And it was an all round war which Dustin won. And now, at the age of 36, he faces Max Holloway for his final fight. Max is probably the best opponent Dustin could have expected because he is a big name and you want your last fight to be against someone who is a great dance partner. And Max has always been a great dance partner for anyone. He comes to fight, he never shies down, and he is always willing to bring the fight to the opposition. Max Holloway has a great fan base. Still, after 15 years in the company, he's only 33 years old. People forget how long Max Holloway has been fighting. So it's a fitting way for Dustin Poirier to say goodbye. And how fitting it would be if he were to win the BMF title. It's not beyond his possibility, it's not beyond his realm. Remember, he has beaten Max last 2 times they fought. And Max Holloway also runs the risk of going down 0-6 in trilogy fights. He has already lost the trilogy to Alexander Volkanovski 3-0, and now he runs the risk of losing to Dustin Poirier by the same margin. Max is a proud fighter, someone who always wants to get his wins back. And even though this will be Dustin's final fight, Max will be looking to spoil the party against one of the greatest fighters to have ever competed in the company. Both of them are crowd favorites. Both of them have huge pay-per-view numbers behind them. And in a way, it's justifying that two of the most loyal fighters in the UFC fight it out to see who is the best between them. And irrespective of how this fight goes, Dustin Poirier will go down as a first bout Hall of Famer. The man has done it all. He defeated Conor McGregor in the trilogy. He faced Khabib Nurmagomedov for the lightweight championship but came up short. He became the interim lightweight champion. He faced a rampant Charles Oliveira but couldn't get the job done. He has faced everyone, the best that the company has to offer, and he has held his own. Imagine any other fighter with a resume like Poirier has. He has faced the likes of McGregor, Khabib, Islam, Chandler, Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway. Who else? He has fought the best of the best, the creme de la creme that the UFC had to offer. He has had his share of wins and losses, but the Diamond has always been one of the greatest fighters in the company till date, and that won't change. And with Max Holloway, he has the perfect dance partner, someone who has also had a storied career and has fought everyone that the featherweight division had to offer. So it's only fitting that these two great fighters slug it out one last time to find out who is the better between the pair of them. Let me know in the comment section what you feel. And if you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.